Salutations, good people. I am Barnabas Vixen, and welcome to Hush Puppy's channel. Now, I bet you're all wondering, Barnabas, why are you here on this channel and not your own? Well, dear listeners, that's because I'm contractually obligated to make at least one appearance here on the channel as per our Frightening Nights agreement. That Hush Puppy and his contracts. Should have read the fine print. Oh well. Thankfully, he let me borrow this HD camera of his, so at least I look good while I'm here. Anyways, that's enough rambling on. Here's Hush Puppy to finish out this intro.
Salutations, good people. I'm the Scottish Hush Puppy, and happy Halloween. Thank you, Barnabas, for that wonderful introduction, and it has been my pleasure to be Spook U's featured sponsor for the past 13 days, all leading up to today, a live stream that is taking place right now as I'm speaking. That's right, for 24 hours, Spook U is going to be live streaming all of the horror stories, all of the madness, all of the frights, and all the chills. So make sure when you're done with this video that you head over to the Spook U channel. But first, I would like for all of you to enjoy my personal debut in the world of horror narration. I hope you enjoy these next two stories, and again, happy Halloween. My name is Troy Finch, and I don't know why or even how I exist. You're probably thinking I mean that I'm being philosophical, or you want to tell me about the birds and the bees. But that's because you don't understand yet. Several weeks ago, I suddenly noticed that my chest felt cold, especially right around where my heart is. A few hours after I noticed this, I started feeling a little depressed. So I decided to visit my doctor to get a diagnosis. The next day, I was visiting my doctor and I told him what was wrong with me. And then he told me to just relax, and he started examining me. At first, he seemed to think it would be easy to diagnose. However, after he examined me in just about every way he could, he gave up and told me it must be all psychological. And then he wrote me a prescription. I took the medication I was prescribed for about a week. Still, I didn't seem to be getting any better. If anything, I was getting worse. So I went back to my doctor and I told him that the pills didn't work. He told me he couldn't help me himself. So then he wrote me a different prescription, one to visit a psychologist. After a few days of visiting the psychologist, it was clear that I still wasn't getting any better. Hell, at that point, I was sure I was getting worse. So my psychologist transferred me over to a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist was a woman named Heather Green. After talking to her for a couple of sessions, she wrote me a new prescription. This was for medication which was much stronger than what my usual doctor prescribed. I tried taking these pills for about 2 weeks, but I was still only getting worse. I was about to head over to my psychiatrist when I heard a rattling sound coming from my chest. So I visited my medical doctor instead. After I told him about the rattle, he tried to find the cause. Yet again, he found nothing and told me to go back to my psychiatrist. Of course, I didn't listen. Nothing anyone was doing was helping me. I was convinced there was something inside of me. Oh, and also, it was making me sicker and sicker. I was feeling very lethargic at this point, and so with the few options left, I resorted to getting help from the dark web. I found someone who claimed to be a physician who lost their license. They said they lost it because they helped people off the record. I knew how crazy this was, but I was desperate to have someone open me up and remove whatever was in me. So I set up a meeting with this person for the next night around 10 p.m. The building we met up at was sketchy as expected. It was small, dank, and not very sterile. Still, like I said, I had no choice. I needed help. After I stepped inside, this dark web doctor told me to lay on his table. Despite how nervous I felt, I did as I was asked. Then the doctor told me to wait while he grabs his tools. "Please hurry before I change my mind," I said. A few minutes later, he came back with some surprisingly clean medical tools. I was even more happy to see what else he had. Some general anesthesia. I was too happy to see it to even ask about it. He put me under, and it felt like no time before I woke up. However, I didn't feel any different. I still felt just as sick. However, when I looked at the doctor, he was staring at his phone, and his face was pure white. Without hesitation, I asked what was wrong. He said, "I don't know. I don't even know what I'm looking at." "What are you?" "What do you mean?" I asked. "See for yourself," he replied, while showing me his phone. I was extremely shocked by what I saw. Coils, gears, circuits, wires, and tubes. It was all surrounded by blood, guts, and organs. Now, I'm putting this story on the internet in the hopes that someone will figure out what I am and where I came from. I don't have much time left. I can feel myself dying.
Excuse me, dear listeners, but it is time for a break. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to the Scottish Hush Puppy, and he's going to drone on for about a minute or two about his channel. Feel free to use this as a snack or bathroom break, but don't dally. This won't take long. Take it away, Hush Puppy.
Salutations, good people. I'm the Scottish Hush Puppy, and salutations to all you good people over there at Spook You, all the subscribers, listeners, and even you, Barnabas. And before I tell you who I am, I want to give a sincere thank you to everybody at the channel for allowing me to be your sponsor for the Frightening Nights of Halloween series that's going to be taking place on October the 18th. So make sure you're subscribed. Do not miss that, because if you're anything like me, you love a good spooky story. And what better place than the YouTube channel you're watching right now? Now, what is a Scottish Hush Puppy, and what does it do? Well, over at our channel, we do a lot of live streams. We stream a lot of horror games, especially through the month of October. And we stream a variety of games when it's not October. And we love to have people watch us live, and we want to provide a family-friendly environment for anybody, absolutely anybody, to come in, hang out, and make it feel more like a casual hangout than a live stream, because usually everybody in the chat, they're all friends, and we can't wait to see you in one of our live streams in the upcoming foreseeable future. So, that being said, I just might be narrating one of these Frightening Nights stories. And of course, all this is leading up to the big live stream on Halloween itself. And I might be popping up there as well. So don't miss it. Hit subscribe on that Spook You button. Annihilate it. And until next time, I've been the Scottish Hush Puppy, and I got some food to go eat.
Oh, finally back, huh? Well, I mean, while you were gone, we were going to wait on you, but you took so long picking out a snack that, well, we've just gone ahead and left you, so you'll have to join the story in progress. Seriously, some people. Can you believe this? This guy.
What you're about to read was copied from the journal of a private detective. It's the final case recorded in the journal. I've just been hired to investigate the disappearance of a family of farmers. This case is very unique. My client told me that the police tried to crack this one for almost a month. which means I probably won't be able to solve this one. But if I can, this will do a lot for my reputation, so I might as well try. So tomorrow, I will head over to the farm. I looked all over this farm for hours. It's getting dark, and I haven't been able to find anything. It seemed like a perfectly normal farm, until now. Out of desperation to find something, I started searching beyond the farm, and finally, I managed to spot something. Several dozen feet beyond the farm, I found a pile of leaves that seemed slightly off. It's hardly noticeable, but there seems to be something under the pile. I discovered what was underneath the pile of leaves. It was a small hatch, barely large enough for an adult to fit through. I opened the hatch and climbed down the ladder leading up to it. At the bottom of the ladder, I discovered a nearly 7-foot tall tunnel. It seemed to lead back to the farm. I'm just glad I have a gun on me. I followed the tunnel until I came upon a fork in the path. I could have gone straight or left. I decided to head left and eventually found something horrible. When I saw it, I vomited. It was the most terrifying and disgusting thing I've ever seen. Sitting there was a chair made out of human body parts. Next to it, there was a bloody pickaxe. And along the wall of the cave, I saw a line of shallow graves filled with more body parts. I took photos of the whole scene with my phone. The last thing I noticed was a book on the chair. I opened it and wrote down the most disturbing but coherent stuff I read. This is what I copied from the book. I like it when they scream so loud and beg for their lives. The orange goblins speak to me in the night. As the moon casts shadows, the pumpkins come to life. After I was done investigating that slaughterhouse, I took off out of there. As soon as I got back to my car, I reached for my phone, but I couldn't find it. I must have dropped it when I ran out of the tunnel. So I drove back to the police station and told them what I found. The next day I talked with the police and apparently they found the tunnel and discovered that the part I didn't investigate ended up underneath the pumpkin patch. But they didn't find anything inside the tunnel. Nothing. Not even my phone. I don't know what happened, but I'll tell you this. If you live on a farm with a pumpkin patch, you should probably stay inside during a new moon.